I think mages don't have the right spec, though. They have Fire, Frost, and Arcane. They don't have Retribution spec.
Right, of course, yeah.
Also, I didn't need to poke Xaylia during the break. I guess it closes in combat. I just noticed that it closes in combat. I talked to Dobbs yesterday on Twitter about how he got jebaited, leaving his quest window open, and then the conflict and strife didn't actually just turn into the Way of the Crane that he was doing yesterday, but it was the option to let him access it, so he had to pull it from his hotbar or from his spellbook in.
All right.
So those little things is pretty funny. I did talk to Perfecto about his bags, and he said it's not his fault. Now, chat, take that for what it is. I don't know how true that is, but you can you can keep that up with Perfecto about his bags from the before the break. But we're jumping back into the first shield, the first Carapace this time. And we're going to have to see what they have moved around or who they're not going to have die. Because again, that 7th or 8th wave of bubbles, I'll have to count how many bubble waves are in that last break. Because if it's 3 waves of rippling waves per DPS phase, which one they ignore, which one they actually soak.
Yeah. So they've chosen to use a barrier here on the first big bubble there as well, just to keep that damage down. That's going to come back up in time for later on, so it's definitely worth using that.
Yeah, so we're looking at almost a 7-minute kill the previous pull, so...
Or was it 7 minutes? I was expecting it to be like round about the 8-minute mark.
Right, yeah, we'll have to double check again. That's why I thought if they pushed faster, their timing's going to change a little bit, so they have to actually move healing cooldowns at a different rate, different cadence. Yeah. We're doing the first red health bar burn, and we'll have to see if they break the 70% mark with this burn here. How much more time do they have on the Carapace? Where is that?
I'm looking for that timer. I can't see.
On Xaylia's screen. I do not see it. I don't think he has that as a healer. He just cares about the health bars not being at 0.
Yeah, that's his main concern.
And I'm trying to see. They're breaking 70% right now, so huge first burn. They're probably going to sit around that 67 when the shield comes back up. Ooh, 66.9.
That's good. That's 3% better than the previous time, right? On that good attempt.
A little bit more. I wonder what they moved around DPS-wise, or who got lucky. So it could also be a thing, too.
Might be the ret just got some crits, right? Just making the difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 3% more damage just from the Narcoles crits. Absolutely true.
I mean, it's the only explanation. So they're in a good standing right now, aren't they?
That was a huge push.
Absolutely huge in that first time. And that 3% could be the thing that makes the difference going toward the end of this fight.
Right.
Because that's pretty much how far they was off before on the previous attempt that we just saw. So
yeah, it was that 4.6. So if they can make up 1 or 2% each previous burn on the first 2 burns, then they will actually just be there.
Yeah, by doing the same thing. And
that's the question. Mike and I were talking during the dinner break as well about if this boss is tuned to such a degree that it is too much of a roadblock and too many guilds. It's like 60+ guilds, I think. Chat can double check, though. There are so many guilds now that are just on Ashvane. Right off the bat from the first day, with both the NA rating scene having the day reset, I suppose, and then the EU jumping in right now. There were a lot. We have 73 coming in. Yeah, it was somewhere in the 60+ mark. Oh, if we're 70+ now, goodness gracious. I wonder how many of them got to Ashvane, though, and said, all right, we're not pushing the numbers that we're seeing on the Race to World First stream, so we're going to go get some gear. I think Mike actually said that their guild, when they start raiding right now, he's actually in the caster side room right now raiding. They've already adjusted what they're going to do to farm because of this DPS check.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
this is second bubble coming down, going to the second DPS phase. Second healer bubble, I suppose.
Yeah.
Powered Radiance.
Or a barrier, yeah.
Radiance into the barrier. You're totally right. The barrier. Look at you.
The barrier was used there as well.
Just call it the healer bubble. Get in the bubble. Breaking 3 each time. I don't know if they broke 4. Camera turned in a certain way.
Yeah, I couldn't quite catch it there.
You get two Azerite cutters each time, so you don't have to break them all. Yeah, there's 2 more.
Yeah, there's 2. Yeah. But that can cause problems later on into the fight, right?
It's really far away too. A healer or someone that has to just get way out there real quick. This DPS burn right here is going to make or break how much time they have on the 3rd burn. They have to get sub 34-ish%, but they have the extra gain. Okay, there was 3 more coral, so they're going to cut those. Pretty straightforward melee to ranged. We're going to see 31-ish, 31.2. So that is, that's roughly 3% higher than I believe they had the previous pull, which isn't the 4.6 we're looking for, so it depends on the no one dying on the 7th to 8th wave of Rippling Waves coming in on the 3rd DPS phase.
How many Rippling Waves are we into at this point?
Should be 6. If there are 3 per DPS phase, based on what Gingy was telling me, how they were playing their healer cooldowns.
Okay.
And they're basically planning them all around, so I think Naga's soaking that one. Going 12 stacks. He didn't soak the big one. 13, and then it should be 14 on Naga. So he's at the almost like unhealable mark, and no one else has died at this point.
That's a pain suppression that's being used there as well to keep
one of the
him alive.
2. He's staying alive for a little bit. I just wonder, the healer mana.
At this point in time.
At this point, they're just burning it, because you can see, oh, the Innervate's coming out on Xaylia right there.
Yeah.
Pumping. The healers are all cresting near 60,000 HPS right now. Jesse and Xaylia are right there, right behind each other. Okay. We're about halfway, a little under halfway on the 3rd Carapace leading into the 3rd DPS phase. The bunching up in melee, like as to avoid.
Time warp's being used now. It's about that time. This is the crunch time now.
Another wave of bubbles coming out here. Get the briny bubbles in there to be cleaved down with the boss.
Yep.
You can see Naga right there. He takes, oh my goodness, he went up to 21 stacks right there, and he is down. But I think they have a res if they want to pull him up again for going into this DPS phase to soak another wave.
I think they could, but he's going to get so little done in the time he's alive before he dies again.
Right. Well, I think the point is that he's essentially dead between the coral. So if he reses, he just soaks whatever he can and then dies.
Yeah.
But we're going into the 3rd DPS phase right now. These bubbles are going to land. Looks like the, yep, there goes down the barrier. And everyone's probably, is it personals and barrier, or is it healer cooldowns and then personals? This is the big bubble coming in right here. After they have to, The timing on that may have been almost to the second when they had cooldowns up and the Empowered Wave. They're not going to cut the coral. There's no point in cutting the coral anymore.
No.
Because either they win or they lose right here, right? There's no point. They're going to get another wave of a ton of bubbles, though.
Absolutely, and it's sub 14% right now. It's getting down to the wire right here.
Yep. I wonder if they just sacrifice these briny bubbles and they don't break them out. We're sub 8% as the DPS checks up. We have stunned people, though. Like, I think it's Roger in a bubble right there.
It's DPS.
Roger went down. They just sacrificed the bubbles. We do have 2 deaths here. Looking at the sub 4%, we're right back to where we were before. Do they have enough time before the shield comes up? They barely have any energy left. We're at sub 2%. 0.8, 0.7, 0.4, 0.3.
Oh,
yes!
Yes!
First,
World first, Lady Ashvane.
The wall has been broken.
Absolutely, we just broke down the
wall.
wall.
Has been broken.
Extremely well done here by the team at the Racer Wolf.